sell, sell, sell. People start selling, price goes down faster. You're more fearful. I'm more fearful, etc. So that's first. Sentiment is atrocious. It's in the toilet. Throw it out. Second, whales are selling, man. Now, whales could be OGs, could be people who've held Bitcoin for a long time, or they could just be people who bought Bitcoin recently. But people with large stacks, they had been selling. Now, one of the most interesting stats is short-term profit or loss.
Pompliano starts by addressing the elephant in the room. The market believes terrible, not just awful, historically bad. We have reached March 12, 2020. We lived through the FTX crash. We've experienced blow-ups, hacks, and liquidations. However, Pomp contends, now in fact, sentiment may be worse than any previous crash. Here's why. Pompliano starts by addressing the elephant in the room. The market believes terrible, not just awful, historically bad. We have reached March 12, 2020. We lived through the FTX crash. We've experienced blow-ups, hacks, and liquidations. However, Pomp contends, now in fact, sentiment may be worse than any previous crash. Here's why. Rather than taking off, Bitcoin surged to 1 to 6K, and then abruptly fell 30%. Please take a moment to like this video, turn on the channel and subscribe. Send out alerts for further videos such as this. Additionally, you may view our other videos on cryptocurrencies and the total space and decrease of digital assets. Your comments and observations in the comments section below. Everything you assist the YouTube algorithm and greatly enhances the channel's expansion. Thank you, and have fun with the video.
It's never been this bad. You can go and you can look at hacks. You can look at what happened in 2020 on March 12th. You can look at FTX collapsing, all that stuff. That was all bad. I actually think sentiment right now may be worse. People were so bulled up. We're headed up. Remember, all those things happened when there was obvious catalyst. 2020, there's a pandemic. Everyone goes sit at home. You're getting locked in your house. Fearful, but you at least knew why. FTX, we'd gone down all of 2022, and then we had the final puke. FTX failed, right? All the chaos, etc. Here, the difference where unhappiness lives is the difference between expectations and reality. And the expectation was we're going higher. We're going to 150, 200, 250, 300, a million. People are saying crazy numbers. And instead what we got is we touched 126 on October 6th and bam, we went down 30% from there. And because everyone was bulled up, everyone was excited, that liquidation, all that leverage, that was excitement, that was enthusiasm, that was euphoria. This was right in our face. Now, a second thing is, I forget who showed this, but I saw online. We can look at the last two 30% drawdowns. One took like 170 days. Another one took like 72 days. This one took like 44. So all of a sudden, we're getting compression. It's happening faster and faster. We're getting these drawdowns at 30% during this cycle. What does that mean? If you go down 30% in 40 days, obviously fear is going to take hold. And then it becomes this reflexive cycle. You're fearful, I'm fearful, they're fearful. Oh no, sell, sell, sell. People start selling, price goes down faster. You're more fearful, I'm more fearful, etc. So that's first. Sentiment is atrocious. It's in the toilet. Throw it out. Second, whales are selling, man. Now, whales could be OGs, could be people who've held Bitcoin for a long time, or they could just be people who bought Bitcoin recently. But people with large stacks, they had been selling. Now, one of the most interesting stats is short-term profit or loss. If you look at coins that are on chain, you can see how long does someone hold them for. Short-term is usually determined at 155 days, right? 155 days. So if you acquired something last 155 days, a coin that you acquired, 95% or more of those coins in the red, underwater, losing money. That's really bad for sentiment. All those people who are buying in the last 155 days, they're all underwater. Short-term loss, not good. On top of that, we do have older coins that are at least switching hands or moving. Now, does it mean that people are selling? Not always. They could just be moving it to a different wallet. They can move it to a different custodian. They could be upgrading the wallet, all kinds of stuff that could be happening. But we know they're moving, and a lot of times that is for selling. And so as people see that distribution happening, they say, hey, the OGs, they're getting out. Now, market is finally liquid enough. There's finally regulatory clarity. There's finally things where they can go and they can take that money, they can put it into a bank, etc. So like, there's a lot of reasons why people are starting to do this. But here's the thing. Here's the good news. Bitcoin fell 30%. You know what it did? Chef's kiss right off of the CME gap. That usually is a pretty good, sturdy little floor there. That's interesting. Second thing, those whales those big bad whales, hit 89,000. You know what they did? Let me come back for some more. They started gobbling up Bitcoin. Huge spike in the number of whales that started buying in the last 48 hours. Again, doesn't mean that we can't go lower. Just means that the whales are back, baby. All of a sudden they say, wait a second, there's a price that I finally think is too cheap, right? If you think of an asset, the way finance works is there's an asset. If it appreciates a lot in value, eventually it reaches such a crazy level valuation-wise that it is so overvalued that some people say, no more, no mas, no mas, no mas. We have the white flag. Can't buy it at that level, right? Same thing happens on the other side. It crashes. I'd say everyone, would you buy Bitcoin at $1? Yeah. Okay. Would you buy it at 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 50,000? There's some level where you're like, yo, this is stupid. I got to buy it. For the whales, it looks like just under 90,000. Bam, they're back in the market. So let's see what happens. But the big question, is this time different? Is the 4-year cycle over? There's people who I really respect that think are very smart. They're saying, hey, no, it's not. October was the top. We're down only now. We're going to 60 or 70,000. Great. There's people I know who really respect who say, this is a head fake. All of a sudden, we're going to come ripping right back. When we come back, people are going to realize the 4-year cycle was dumb, doesn't really exist. It got broke when Wall Street showed up, and now we're just going to keep grinding up. That could be true.
Pomp emphasizes how many long-held beliefs are being challenged, particularly the relationship between Bitcoin and liquidity. In the past, Bitcoin eventually followed increases in global liquidity. However, liquidity has recently increased as Bitcoin has lagged. Two possibilities are brought up by this. The price of Bitcoin is poised to soar in order to bridge the difference. It turns out that the liquidity link is weaker than initially believed. Markets change throughout time. Dynamics are altered by institutional flows. Old rules are rewritten by new catalysts. This is a step in the maturation process of Bitcoin.
Too. Maybe both are true. Here's a little scenario for you. There's a guy on Twitter who I saw, he was talking about hit 126, dropped 30%. 30% is a normal drawdown in a bull market. Drop 30%. Chef's kiss right off of that CME gap. Whale step back in. Go right back over 100K. Everyone goes, hey, that was just a little cleansing. We're ready to rock and roll, go higher. But then Bitcoin says, just kidding. I'm really going to a bear market. We go to 60 or 70. I have no clue. I have no clue what's going to happen. What I know is that the Bitcoin that I'm holding, my goal is to give that to my grandchildren. There have been times in the past where, unfortunately, I've had to sell some to buy or to pay taxes or do something, right, where I literally had to do it. Every time I've ever sold Bitcoin throughout the decade or so that I've been doing this, it's like you're doing it and you're just like, this is so dumb. I know I'm going to regret this. But you get life, man. And I think that's what a lot of the OGs are starting to see is like, yo, man, like, okay, cool. If you got $1 billion of Bitcoin, but you live in a studio apartment and don't have a car, I'm not saying that's what they're doing, right? But for an illustrative effect, you think maybe if you take $5 million, $10 million, $100 million, and you get a cool spot, quality of life, right? So we're going to see what happens, but everyone just chill out. Here's a good piece of advice for you. Long-term investors should not take advice from short-term speculators. Put that on your wall. If you're a long-term investor, stop worrying about what the short-term speculators are saying. And if you're a short-term speculator, stop worrying what the long-term investors are saying. You're playing two different games. One of you is playing T-ball, the other's playing Major League Baseball. You guys can figure out which is which. And so just play your game. If you're a long-term investor, keep accumulating Bitcoin. Keep dollar cost averaging in. Hold a great asset for a long time. You're the next Buffett. You're good. If you're a short-term speculator, hey, get out the charts, man. Let's go. Let's start drawing the astrology lines. Let's figure out where's the thing going in the short term. Some guys are really good at that. Some are not. That's not my game. Well, one of the things that's really interesting is, so 2018, 2019, we fell significantly from 20,000 in 2017, we topped out at 20,000. We dropped back down to 3,200 in 2018, right? Bottom there. Then we kind of went sideways and recovered and went all the way up to your point, 69,000. Then we dropped back down to like 16,000. Now, wait a second. We dropped to 16,000. The prior all-time high was 20,000. We had never seen Bitcoin drop back below its previous all-time high, ever. Not a lot of data points. It's not like it happened 100 times, right? There's like 3 data points, but we'd never seen that before. Okay, violated that rule. Now all of a sudden people say, well, it can drop back below its previous all-time high. Went 70,000, right? That was the previous all-time high now. Now we're up at 126. Could it drop back to 70? Sure. Could it drop below 70? Sure. What's your time horizon? That's what people got to ask themselves. What is your time horizon? The U.S. government likes Bitcoin. Like everyone in the cabinet has got Bitcoin. People who hated Bitcoin are finally capitulating, saying, you know what? I like Bitcoin. Larry Fink is the CMO of Bitcoin. It is game on. Who cares what happens in the short term? Don't use leverage. Don't be a fool. As long as you live by that, you're good. Chill out. Everything's going to be fine. If your house price, anyone ever go on Zillow? If you own a house and you look at it every day, it bounces around like a ping pong ball. One day is up, next day is down, next day is up again, right? Bam, 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 bam. You don't all of a sudden say, oh, let me sell my house. Let me not sell my house. Let me sell my house. Let me not sell my house. You just use it for utility. You live in your house and you know you're going to hold it for a while until you're ready to move. Bitcoin's utility is that it's protecting your purchasing power. Who cares where the day-to-day price goes? It's serving you utility. Hold it until you want to sell it. And if price is determining you selling or not selling, then you're a speculator. No problem. But you go to the gambling table. That's fine. Just understand that, you may be the amateur at the gambling table. There's a lot of people with a lot of experience, a lot of technology, a lot of data, and frankly, they got a lot of money. They're dominating the gambling table. I take up my little shekels and little coins, right? And I say, I don't want to play at this table. I'm going to go over here. At the long-term lounge, we don't got tables. We're just sitting with a lounge. Sit down in a nice, comfortable chair. You just pop your feet up. Maybe get out a cigar, listen to some nice music, chill. Who cares what they're doing at the gambling table? We're in the long-term lounge. And the long-term lounge is gravy. It's chill. See your friends, hang out, chill. Maybe they get a little drink, get a little bit of food. Fine. In the long-term lounge, nobody's blood pressure goes above like 60. In the short-term gambling table, everyone's blood pressure is like 140. Lower your blood pressure. Chill out. Go to the long-term lounge.
What is Pomp hoping everyone will remember from this? Indeed, the sentiment is terrible. Whales did sell, but they are also making new purchases. Indeed, there is uncertainty in the cycle. Bitcoin can indeed drop in value. However, that doesn't alter the long-term reality. Bitcoin is evolving into a globally recognized asset. It keeps protecting purchasing power. It continues to bring in new followers, particularly those who used to mock it. Major funds, Wall Street, and the US government are all getting warmer. Additionally, Bitcoin favors patience over prediction over an extended period of time.